Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Bandai Movie Monster Series Millennium Godzilla version 2.0, not to be confused with Godzilla 2000. That design appeared in Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, and the difference between that design and this design is that the Megaguirus design is slightly greener than the Millennium design. Can you tell I've never been with a woman before? Jokes about my non-existent love life aside, this version of Godzilla comes from the 1999 film Godzilla 2000 Millennium, which I think is a good movie. It's not my favorite Godzilla movie, but for what it is, I enjoy it. I like the characters, I like the story, I like Godzilla's design. I think the purple dorsal plates is a really interesting, design choice. I think the music is great, and overall, it's a solid movie. Again, it's not my favorite movie, and it's definitely not the best kaiju movie to come out in 1999, but for what it is, I like it. It's a solid movie, so if you haven't seen it yet, I'd say give it a watch. Actually, I remember back in 2023, this movie was actually re-released in theaters, and I went to go see it, and I enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's always cool to see like a Toho-produced Godzilla movie in theaters, but I digress. I have been rambling on for far too long now. Let's just get into this. Before we take a look at the figure itself, like usual, to start, we'll take a look at the tag. And for the cover here, we have a nice promotional picture of Millennium Godzilla here. I think this looks really nice. At the bottom here, we have Millennium Godzilla, both in Japanese and in English. Version 2.0. So I didn't mention this yet, but we actually did get this design in the Movie Monster Series line, like all the way back in 2016. But that was a repaint of an already existing figure. So recently, Bandai decided to make a more updated version of that figure. Or not that figure specifically, but like this design. And I'm on board with that. I think that opens up the floodgates as far as other version 2.0 figures coming out. I think that's cool. I like that. So anyway, version 2.0 is right there. Godzilla 2025. On the back, we have a nice silhouette of Godzilla's dorsal plates. Godzilla 2000 Millennium. Movie Monster Series, both in Japanese and in English. Really quick, I just want to say, I really like the purples they use on this card. I think it looks really nice, like at the bottom here and here. It just looks great. I like it. Bandai, Godzilla, some legal information. On the inside, we have a little bit of a bio. Of course, it's in Japanese, but I can't read that. We have a nice silhouette of Millennium Godzilla here. Some more legal information. And that's pretty much it for the tag. Now going back to the figure itself, to start, we'll take a look at the paint, and the painting on this figure I think looks really nice. So, as you can see, the entirety of this figure is casted in this black coloration, which I think looks really good. I think it looks close to the movie. His toenails and fingernails here are going to be painted a yellowish whitish coloration, which I think looks nice. Godzilla is also going to be sporting some highlights on his chest here and on his knees, which they didn't need to do, but they did. And I think that's a really nice touch. The dorsal plates here are going to be painted this really nice metallic purple. I think this looks great. And the painting continues all the way to here. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is film accurate or not. I've seen some pictures where the purple does continue all the way to the end, but I've also seen pictures where it does stop right here. But as far as this figure is concerned, the painting is going to stop here, and it doesn't bother me that much. I still think it looks nice, but still. And another thing to point out, the original Movie Monster Series Godzilla Millennium, or Millennium Godzilla, sorry, the inside of the outer dorsal plates were not painted, but here they are painted, and it looks really nice. It's more painted towards the top than right here, but still, as is, it looks really nice, and I'm just a big fan of this. Going to the head here, we can see that the eyes are painted this bronze goldish coloration with brown pupils. And I think that looks really nice. His teeth here are going to be nice and white. Godzilla brushes his teeth. And the inside of the mouth is going to be this reddish coloration, which also looks nice. And that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. And overall, for a Movie Monster Series figure, I think the painting here is actually really solid. So the painting on this figure, I'd say, definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the articulation, and I mean, it's a movie monster series, right? You know the drill. There's not a whole lot of articulation with these guys, but I still gotta show it off. The arms can move backwards about that much. You know, you can force them to go back further, but I don't want to risk damaging, like, any of the detailing here, which we'll talk about later. But, yeah, as far as I'm, being comfortable with, the arms can move outwards about that far, and they can move inwards like so. Top of each other. There you go. The legs can kick about that far, and they can kick backwards about that far. And obviously the same goes for this leg too. That far back, or that far forward, and that far back. And that's pretty much it for the articulation. Again, not a whole lot to say, but it's a movie monster series figure. It's fine. It is what it is. The articulation gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the sculpt. And the sculpting on this figure, it's perfect. The sculpting here is absolutely fantastic. I was happy with the original, Millennium Godzilla release in the movie monster series line. Even if it was just, a repaint, and even if, the outer dorsal plates, the insides weren't painted, I was fine. I was fine with that figure, but this, Bandai didn't need to do this. But I am really happy they did, because, sculpt-wise, painting too, but, sculpt-wise, this figure looks incredible. It is perfect. I absolutely love it. The proportions are just right, and overall, this is, Godzilla from Godzilla 2000 Millennium. It looks phenomenal. I enjoy it a lot, right? Again, the original figure is nice, but growing up, I actually had the Bandai Creation Godzilla 2000, and I kind of grew to not like that figure very much, because, I don't know, it might have looked closer than the, movie monster series figure, but, I don't know, there was something that just fell off with that figure, but this, the sculpting here, absolutely perfect. I love it to death. So, overall, the sculpting on this figure, pretty fantastic. So the sculpting here, I'd say, definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure is phenomenal. So let's take a closer look at that. So starting off with the head here, we can see all of the wrinkles and creases in the face here are detailed very nicely, the brows and everything. Everything is just beautifully detailed. Everything here is just really nice looking. And then we get to the top of the head, and all of the little scales on his head, all the little spikes here look really nice. Everything here is just beautifully defined, and I'm just a really big fan of this. And we get more of that scaling throughout the body here, which just looks really good. For a movie monster series figure, the detailing here is phenomenal. I love the spikes here on the side and everything like that, and all of the scaling on the arms here. Everything here just looks great. The torso here, all the scaling in the neck here, and in the torso, it just looks really nice. The arms here have a very nice bit of musculature here, and the little crease here, and just everything is just very nice looking. Even in the legs here, just again, more of that really nice scaling here, just throughout, and just a lot of really nice musculature in the legs here, which looks really good. And in the feet here as well. Going to the tail here, again, just a lot of really nice scaling, and just a really, just a lot of really nice creases and everything. Right here, it gets a little smooth. I don't know what happened here, but the detailing goes back to being great. And yeah, it just looks really nice. The underside here, we have a lot of really nice, creases and everything. And it just looks really solid here. It looks great. Going to the dorsal plates here, the detailing here is phenomenal. These look great. And I really like all of the smaller dorsal plates in the middle here and all of that. The detailing here is just absolutely phenomenal. I can't stress that enough. I know I sound like a broken record, but it really is just really nice looking here. And these dorsal plates are no exception. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. Yeah, the detailing here is phenomenal. Definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll do some size comparisons. To start, of course, here we have the original movie monster series, Millennium Godzilla. technically Godzilla 2000 because he does have some green on his chest, but I digress. And as you can see, this new figure is actually quite small compared to other movie Monster Series figures. And as far as, like, the overall look goes, like, I like this guy. He's fine. But again, this guy is just leagues better. No question. So, yeah. Here these two are. This is a repaint, so it's not the original figure, but here we have the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2000 Special Color version. You know, the one based on the original Yuji Sakai sculpt. Here we have the Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla 2002. Unfortunately, I don't have my original Bandai Creation Godzilla 2000 with me because, well, it's in the basement. I couldn't really get it, but still, this is just fill the void here. And of course, here we have some hand sanitizer. And here we have Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure? I'd say yes. The painting here looks great, the sculpting is phenomenal, and the detailing here is really nice. Overall, this is just a really nice looking figure, and I just absolutely love this guy. You know, it's a movie Monster Series figure. There's not going to be a lot of articulation, but that doesn't matter because the overall look of the figure is great, and I absolutely love it. And this figure in particular excites me because this figure opens the realm of possibilities for other 2.0 versions of already existing movie Monster Series figures, you know? In fact, actually, version 2.0s of Kiryu 2002, Destroya, and Burning Godzilla, I guess, have been leaked back in February and are set to release in June, and I'm here for it because the original releases of those figures, I'm not going to lie, I'm not the biggest fan of. Even Kiryu, as much as I like the sculpting on that figure, the painting could have been a lot better. But, you know, version 2.0 I think would be really nice to see of, you know, all of those guys and other movie Monster Series figures that have been less than stellar, you know? Give us a version 2.0 of Shodai Goji. Give us a version 2.0 of Shin Godzilla, of Kaiser Ghidorah. There are so many possibilities here. Like, it's great, and I am very excited. But anyway, I digress. As far as price tags go, now I imported mine from HobbyLink Japan. MSRP, I paid about $25, $26 before shipping, which I think is pretty fair. Granted, shipping is an additional like $25 to $30, so in total you're paying about like $50 or so, which if that's not your cup of tea, I'm sure there are US retail sellers that are selling this guy for about $30 and the shipping is a lot lower, so if you want to go that route, then go ahead. I usually go with HobbyLink Japan because I want these guys quickly. I'm pretty impatient and I just want these guys as soon as possible. So that's just my preferred method, but I'm sure there are other more affordable methods for you. So at the end of the day, I do definitely recommend that you pick this figure up. And that being said, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.